Okay, here's the New York Giants record prediction. So their roster just isn't the greatest. They're still stuck with Daniel Jones and Saquon, who always gets injured, and their skill positions aren't the best. They do have a good defensive line, but that's pretty much the only strength of the team. So your first game versus the Titans. Titans are getting Derrick Henry back. I don't think the Giants defense will be able to stop Derrick Henry. And I think the Titans are one of the more underrated defenses. And I think the Giants offense will struggle against them. So I'm going to take the Titans. Then you have Denver versus the Panthers. Panthers, I think their weakest point is Matt Rhule, head coach. The Panthers have a good young defense that Giants offense may struggle against. And their offense, starting Baker Mayfield, Christian McCaffrey is probably still healthy. I think the Panthers are slightly more talented, so I'm going to take the Panthers. And you have a game against the Cowboys, a divisional rival, so definitely hard to predict. But I think even losing Cooper, the Cowboys still have a lot of talent with Lamb, Dak, Zeke, and they have a good defense, so I'm going to take the Cowboys. Then you have Week 4 versus Chicago. Chicago is arguably a less talented team than the Giants now. Giants' defensive line, I think, will cause problems for Justin Fields on the terrible Bears line. The Bears' defense, it's not the worst, but Giants' offense, I think, will be able to get through it. And I'm going to take the Giants, especially with the home advantage. Then you have them versus the Packers. Packers, playoff contenders, Super Bowl contender. They have Aaron Rodgers. I just don't see them losing to a team like the Giants. Except the Packers. Then you have a game versus the Ravens. Ravens, another really talented team who's coming off injuries. Lamar Jackson and the rest of that offense, I think, is going to cause problems for the Giants' defense. And Baltimore also has a very good defense, so I'm going to take the Ravens. And you have a game against Jacksonville. Jacksonville did improve during the offseason, but aren't really that much more talented than the Giants. The Jaguars brought in Kirk. They still have Trevor Lawrence second year. They brought in that linebacker. And overall, I'm going to take the Giants because of home field advantage. Then you have a game versus the Seahawks. Similarly, Seahawks have good skill position players with DK Metcalf, Lockett, Penny, but they're really bad at quarterback. And the Seahawks defense isn't great. And this one's going to be close, but I'm going to take the Seahawks because of the home field advantage. Then you have a bye. Then you have Denver versus the Texans. Texans, again, they signed a bunch of veterans. They're still rebuilding. Texans do get Davis Mills, who wasn't terrible last year. But I'm going to take the Giants because of their home field advantage, going from Houston to New York, and after that, by week. Then you have a game versus the Lions. Lions, they did improve. They did draft the wide receiver at the draft. They still have Jared Goff, who's not the greatest, but not the worst. And overall, it's going to be close. I'm going to take the upset and call the Giants. Then you have Week 12 versus the Cowboys. Cowboys divisional rival, like I said, really hard to predict. But it's a Thursday nighter. Dallas is more talented and has home field advantage, and Thursday night is a hard on the road team. So I'm going to take the Cowboys. Then you have another game versus the football team, or Commanders, sorry. Um, Commanders, they have a good defensive line and a good overall defense, which I think will cause problems for that Giants offense. And Washington's offense isn't the greatest, but neither is the Giants' defense. And like I said, it's a divisional game, so kind of hard to predict. But I'm going to take the Giants with home field advantage. Then you have a game versus the Eagles. Eagles to me are just very talented, but it's still a divisional game. Giants have home field advantage, so it's going to be closer. But to me, the Eagles, I think, are one of the most talented teams right now. And if they had a franchise guy, I think they would beat the most. They have great defense, offensive line, great secondary, good skill position players. You have a Commanders again. To me, Commanders are just too talented to get swept by the Giants, and they're coming off a bye. I'm going to take them. Then you have a game against the Vikings. Vikings, they do have some talent. They do have home field advantage and a Saturday nighter. They do have Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. So not the worst offense. And their defense is solid. And to me, they're just more talented of a team than the Giants. And the Vikings are probably looking for a playoff spot. So I'm going to take them. Then you have a Week 17 versus the Colts. I think this one's going to be closer. And the Colts are definitely looking for a playoff spot. So they have it. They have the drive. And the Colts have Jonathan Taylor, which I think will cause problems, and Jonathan Taylor's going to win them the game. Then you have another game versus the Eagles. Like I said, the Eagles are just very, very talented right now, and they're probably looking to win the division right now. And I can very easily see the Eagles sweeping the Giants. So in the end, the Giants go 4-13, 1-5 in the division, 4-5 at home, and 0-8 away.